Okay, let's talk about variables on Oxgen 6. Welcome to this new video. On this video we will cover about the variables of Oxgen 6. And we will set up some global styles using this method that Oxgen 6 proposed to us. If you don't know what I am talking about, you can review the link page about on oxygenbuilder.com/features variables, and they explain a little what is that, and I will explain you how to work, and let's start to learn together about how it's this new workflow that Oxgen propose. Remember that if you want to receive when I launch a new tutorial, you can register on my newsletter at wp.com to don't miss any tutorial. So let's start it. And on the last videos we are working on the footer and the header, and in this occasion we will work with variables. Maybe the variables is the first thing that you need to set up on your website, because you will use on the rest of your site. In this case, because I am playing with Oxgen 6, I didn't do that, but let's do that now. So the first thing is what is a variable? CSS variables, or custom properties, it's called too, allow you to store reusable values for colors, size, and fonts, and you after can use this variable on the rest of your style sheet. So you can do you can reuse this part of code of CSS that you are defining on the start of your project, and you can maintain a better maintenance of the project and do dynamic changes easier, like I say that. So you have some ways to use that. The first one is do with custom code on WordPress. Obviously, you can do with custom code and defining on the root of your style sheet. And defining like that primary color and for example the color or font size and the size and the value of the size of your CSS, right? Or you can use plugins with variable CSS like frameworks. For example, you have ACCS, automatic CSS, or a core framework, and they have a lot of variables ready to use and utility classes that they developed for you. This is good because it's a good way to mix the beam methodology and insert the values directly on your styles on your classes, and not use a lot of utility classes on your HTML, right? And you in the future could maintain better your website. Kevin Gary has a video talking about that and maybe explain better than me, but this is the idea. And Oxgen 6 introduced these CSS variables directly on his builder. So let's do and discover how to work that. So the first thing that we need to know is the variables are there. So we don't have more global styles like we knew on Oxgen Classic. We now has this menu here called variables. This sign of variables, the dollar sign like PHP. So I have defined some ones here. to that we are working on this project in the last video with header and footer. So I'm gonna show you how to start. When you start, you don't have any of these things defined, so you need to add a new collection. For example, we could add a collection for colors, like global styles on bricks, or on Oxgen Builder Classic on or bricks 2 or Elementor, and we need to do that with variables. So let's start defining a color, for example, and we could call it for example color primary, for example, and register your color there like that, and you will see that this is changed because before I define it, when you see the last video, we saw that are defined there. So let's work with this one. It's defined and it's called color. So we have now defined, for example, color primary, color secondary, color white, and color dark, and we call this continue registering a lot of colors that we need to use from your firma design or anywhere. So if you have on style guide, you will define your primary, secondary, dark color, and your white color or tertiary anyway. So when you register that, when you are working on Oxgen 6, you will have the capability to start to style from this variable. For example, I'm gonna add a class, call it background primary, for example, and I will go to the background, and to add these variables you need do here on this plus and transform to $sign, and you can add after these variables. So if we choose background primary, the common way is choose this primary color. The good thing of work with variables, like I said on the start, on the begin, you can do a better maintenance of your code. If, for example, if your Figma design change and you are advanced on your development, and for anything that change it on the side, on the decision on your customer, on you, and want to change the color, for example, the primary color to orange, you can change to from there and select the color, and all of your development will not put on the trash because you did the things well. You don't need go and change side by side on your website, or element by element, and change on your website like working on ID, right? So this is a good thing of variable. It's like classes, CSS, but it's defined on a more little a more little value of your CSS. So let's go back to the, okay, it's a beta, so going to copy again, and we have it. So okay, all right, so we saw the colors, and you can register all of these colors and use whatever you want. And let's talk about, for example, of this here on spacing. Let's do a variables for spacing. So I add a variable like a collection. Let's do from scratch. I gonna add a variable calling space, and these variables we will use the unit select and start to register our variables for spacing. And the good thing of that is that we can use, for example, fluid responsive properties and start register properties on for our spacing, margins, or paddings, some things like that. For example, for spacing, gonna work with, for example, a space XXL, for example, or 2XL, and gonna register this to 2XL like 96, and add another variable for unit and register like a space XL this, and we could put this 72, and register one more like a space L 56, and for example one more space XM, and this could be, I don't know, this size, for example. So we could use that with fixed pixels, but it's more interesting to do with, for example, with clamp. With clamp, if you don't know what is clamp, Kevin Gary has a good video talking about that. So clamp is a functionality to do responsive layout or responsive properties or spacing or typography and this stuff. So how to work that? This website allow you register and do a clamp functions to use and do the calculation and how to work. If you are used to use ACCS or Core Framer, you will know what I am talking about. So we will define this clamp functionality. So we need to define the size of the screen or the container, and in this case we will use 1390 is the size of the container, and this viewport say from your mobile version. For example, we have the 470, it's like that, 479, and this is from your mobile device, and this is to the desktop device. So this functionality will work on this size, between this size. So in this case, for example, we will use this space to desktop 96, and we will use depend of the mobile version. I don't have mobile version on this design, but we need to suppose that for this size on mobile version we will work, for example, with 48 or CB 556. So and we could register this. We can change that, for example, and put, I don't know, padding. But will sound the same, but with this, the only thing that we need to copy is the clamp functionality. So here we can use custom and put this clamp functionality, and the thing that will happen is on mobile we will have 56, and on desktop we will have 96 automatically. So we will save that, and let's see what I'm talking about. So we have this background primary. I'm gonna add a heading there and put this like h1, heading 1, heading, and let's add one more with paragraph, lorem ipsum, and an image, for example. I have some image there. I don't know, this image. Okay, and I will add this spacing that I've defined by variables. So instead put directly this, and after need to go that and adapt that, we could use this variable that we define. So we need to put the double click here and click on the variable and go to the variable that we define. In this case, we will use this space 2xl with the clamp function, and you will see that it's apply this space xl 2xl. We could use with fixed value, but in this case we will use clamp to do the things better. So I'm gonna save, and we have the space in there. And if you check on your responsive on your front end, you will see that we have the same spacing. It's 96. If we change that 96, you will see that nothing changed. If change that is the same value. So the thing is that when we are working, we are doing the changes of the screens, we will see that this will be adapted progressive. Yes, we will see that this is adapting progressively. So let me go to another like that. I don't know why this is out of beeper. Let me check. Okay, we need to put a full width, 100% of the width. But anyway, in any case, we need to see that on padding left we have 96, but on the rest you will see that we start to have less than 96, because progressively we will reduce until get the mobile version, and we and on the left will jump directly when we are on mobile version, but it's not progressive. It's static until mobile version, but with clamp it's progressive. So in all size, all device, we will see good. So this is one of the functions that we can use the variables on Oxgen. Instead use the plugin of automatic CSS. We have the capability to have our own variables directly here without write the lines of CSS with root and start defining the variables. For example, a space to Excel and define it like that. I don't know, and start using and call it with variables. When you style, for example, the I don't know hero section, you will start and use the variables like that. Space Excel, for example, right? So this is how to. Let me check if it's like that. Yes, it's like that. This is how to you will use with code this part, but Oxgen put us more easy to use the different variables. Another variable that you could use is, for example, the font family. And when you add a font family, you need to put there and select the font family and start to use. I don't know if for font family this is the best way, because we could instead define font family by font family heading an element of text. Each element of text put the variable directly on the class. I don't know if it's the best way, but sometimes yes. But we could use directly on our code for define all the headings has this font family, and all the text body has this font family. But anyway, you need use this way by the moment on Oxgen, or do with custom code. Have on this hero description, and you can define the font family from there and use this one. And if we want to use the color white, we could use the color white. And for example, another thing that we can use is the font size, like that. Okay, we can use, for example, an unit and start to define the headings and bodies. For example, we can use a page heading 1, for example, I don't know, and put a font size h1, and this h1 will be let me check on Figma, 54, for example. I don't know if it's the same that because I copy from another site. This is 64, so we could define with that, or we could use this element and use for the desktop version 64, and for mobile version, I don't know, 30, and copy the clamp and put on there. And when we will save that, and when we will work with heading, hero heading, we could use this typography and put, for example, the variables of white, and the font will be this one. The weight, we could define the weight too, and we could define the font size h1. Okay, and in this case, I don't know what I did, but let me check. Fonts h1. Let me check. Okay, doesn't save. So now it's saved. Save it. Go to there. Typography. Font h1. And what's happened? I don't know why it doesn't work. Well, it's not saved. Font size h1. Okay, it's a beta, man. Let me save again. We need to define. Okay, I know what's happened. That there, we need to put a custom value to do the work. Custom value was not full of work of Oxgen 6, was my fault. So this is the thing. So, and we could work, for example, on there hero container, and works with the sizes and the spaces that we could define, and start work on that. Another thing that we could use for variables that I just show in my head, is for line height. For example, we could use font size, and let me remember what. Well, also we could use this for example, borders radius, if we need to use, or and start to define that. For example, 8. Depends of what you need to use, and different things. we have also image. Maybe we need to use, like, I don't know, image. Brad, use, I don't know how to work that. We can also create management image URLs, I think. Yeah, the image is for save the URL. If I am not bad, let me know if I missed something, but I didn't use for image for the moment. So okay, this is what you could do of with the variables, and it's the way that on this Oxgen 6 you can do the global settings. So it's a good way. It's a better way than use global style, because you can use different functions like clamp and define a lot of things with what you want, because you will use. And the good thing is that it's directly on your builder, like that. For example, like, hey, we can define and a lot of things that are very cool. Letter spacing and whatever, when you see this plus image will be good. Okay, for example, an image, we could use an image background. For example, if we have a design with that, we can save the URL, I think, and put this variable. So okay, I hope that I hope that was helpful, this tutorial. Sorry for can't I speak sometimes. So if you enjoy and learn something in this tutorial, you can comment below. Let me know what do you think, and I see you on next tutorials. You can register on my newsletter to don't miss any tutorial, and I hope you're well. Bye bye.